we're going to break this down into two phases, the growth phase and then the income distribution phase. So let's talk about the growth phase. First of all, let's go back here. So the growth phase is from here to here. So starting here till we get to retirement. This is our growth phase that we're going to focus on first. Then we're going to focus on this phase next. So we're going to break it down into those two phases, okay? All right, so you've probably heard of the rule of 72. If you haven't, you can Google it. But basically what that says is that you take 72, the rule of 72 says take 72, divide it by the interest rate that you're going to earn on your money, the rate of return that you're going to earn on your money, and that will tell you how many years it takes to double your money, okay? So if you take your calculator and you take 72 divided by 10%, that means our money will double every 7.2 years. Okay? Now, let's take a look at why that might not be always some sound advice to follow. Okay, so here we have the stock market history from 2000 to 2022. Now, the average rate of return has been 5.9%. So we take 72 divided by 5.9% and our money should double in 12 years. So we have $1 starting out in 2000. After we have the first little drop of 9/11 and the dot-com crash in here, our money dropped in the stock market, as you can see, 46% if you had your money tied to something like the S&P 500 index. That means your dollar actually turned into 60 cents. Then we finally had some good years leading up to the recession of 2007 and 8, but our 60 cents got back to our dollar. Now we're a long ways from doubling our dollar. We're still at even. We're still even at $1, right? Then we lost the money again in 2008 and we're back down to 60 cents. We then grew our money again. Let me scroll this down a little bit. Okay. After 2008, in 2011, our money was growing and we almost got to our doubling of our money right around here in 2019 is when we finally doubled our money. So what happened to the rule of 72? Why didn't we double our money in 12 years? The average return says 5.9, but the actual return on the money was 4.26 because of the impact of losses. So it took a lot more time to double our money because we kept losing the money and we had to make up for those losses, okay? Now I'm going to dive into that in a little bit more detail in a minute, but my point of all of this is that there's more to growing your money than simply the rate of return. You can't just pull up a little calculator and figure out when you're going to be able to retire. There is way more to the rule of 72, okay? It's a lot more complicated than the rule of 72. There are 4 considerations. Number 1, yes, the rate of return. That is important. We're going to talk about that. But there's also the average returns versus the actual return on your money and the impact of losses, which we looked at briefly. We're going to look at that again. There's also taxes to consider. What if you're paying taxes along the way? You're not going to double your money if some of your money is going to taxes. How about fees? How much are you paying in fees? You're not going to double your money if you're paying fees, right? These are all things to consider.